Hello viewers, welcome to the Bachelor course of Population Studies. In the last lecture, we discussed about Kerala model of demographic dividend. Today, we will have a discussion about North-South demographic divide. In this unequal world, we can easily observe economic and social divides which have their own implications on the related aspects of life. Economic disparity leads to disparity in the living standards of the people, which further leads to different types of human capital attainments, and therefore, the inequality seeps into the routine lives. They think differently, they act differently. Their inputs are different and therefore their outcomes are different. The demographic structure of the world, a country or a specific region is also no exception in this regard. Rather, its inequalities can be associated with prevalent economic and social inequalities in two or more separately identifiable words or the categories. At the global level, we can easily identify developing world where the birth rates, death rates and fertility rates are very high along with a high growth rate of population, while on the other hand, we can find a developed world with low birth rates and low mortality rates with nearly stagnant population size. These two worlds witness great disparities in their qualities of life, and of course, that of the developed world is a preferable one. These inequalities can also be witnessed at the national level. In India, on basis of different demographic features, the country can be divided into two parts, the north and the south. The north covers the Bimaru states, that is Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, while the south covers Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, which are the states with better demographic features. The south is doing well on family planning front and so the population growth. It has already achieved the replacement level of fertility rate. On the other hand, the performance of the north is most unsatisfactory. Hence, in this lecture, we shall discuss about the different types of demographic achievements by these two types of the regions. To start with, let us first of all look at the changes in population size, percentage share of north and south in total population of India. This can be observed from this table. This table not only shows the actual changes in population of the north as well as the south during 2001 and 2011, but it also gives the projection of population up to the year 2026. It can be observed that the percentage share of north has grown from 41.05% in 2000 to 42.41% in 2011, and it is expected that this share will grow to 43.56% in 2026. While in case of south, the percentage share in total population has come down from 21.7% in 2001 to 20.77% in 2011, which is further expected to come down to 19.30% between 2001 and 2011. The maximum increase in share of population can be observed in case of Bihar. While within the category of north, the share in total population of each state has declined and the maximum decline has occurred in case of Andhra Pradesh. Further, between the period 2011 and 2026 within south, it is expected that the relative increase in population of Bihar, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh would increase at a relatively lower rate as compared to other states, leading to a fall in their share in total population of the country. On the other hand, among the states that have registered an increase in their share, Uttar Pradesh will show the maximum gains. Similarly, in the category of the south, where share of each of the state will be further declining between 2011 and 2026, the maximum decline can be observed in case of Tamil Nadu. In percentage terms, the total population of the country is expected to grow by 36% between 2001 and 2026, while the population of the south will grow by about 44% and that of the north by merely 21%. Within the south, the population of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan will increase at a greater rate as compared to other states within the same category, and within the north, percentage increase in population is much slower for Kerala and Tamil Nadu as compared to Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Of the projected increase in population of 371 million in India during 2001 to 26, 187 million is likely to occur in the 7 states of Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Uttaranchal, that is the north. We can observe the share of each of the states of India in total increase in population from this figure. The figure shows that nearly 50% of India's demographic growth during the period of 25 years is projected to take place in these 7 states. 22% of total population increase in India during 2001 to 26 is anticipated to occur in Uttar Pradesh alone. In contrast, the contribution of the 4 southern states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, to the total increase in population size of the country during 2001 to 26 is expected to be 13% of total demographic growth of the country. High growth of population within the north is due to their slower achievements of population growth. Thus, the north-south divide can also be observed through different achievements in case of crude birth rate, crude death rate, the natural increase and total fertility rate, which are higher in the north as compared to the south. These differences can be clearly seen from this figure. The figure speaks its story in itself. The demographic divide between the north and south is quite clear. The highest birth rate of the south, which is 18.8 per thousand, achieved by Karnataka, is lower than the minimum rate of the north, that is 18.9 per thousand, achieved by Uttarakhand. However, in case of death rate, a few states in the north have performed better as compared to the south. It is 6.2 per thousand for Uttarakhand, 6.7 per thousand for both Bihar and Rajasthan, while the south has shown a minimum death rate of 7 per thousand achieved by Kerala. Further, the maximum fertility of 2 children per woman in the south is quite close to the minimum fertility of the north, which is 1.9 for Madhya Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have very high fertility rate, which is respectively 3.5 and 3.7 children per woman. These differences in birth rates, death rates and the total fertility rates clearly lead to differences in natural rate of increase of population in different states of the north and the south. The natural increase in population is simply the difference of the crude birth rate and the crude death rate. The south has achieved the highest rate of natural increase at 11.7 per thousand for Karnataka, while it is minimum at 8.2 per thousand for Kerala. On the other hand, for the north, the minimum rate of natural increase is 12.8 for Uttarakhand, which is again higher than the highest rate achieved by the south, while the highest in the north is 21 per thousand, followed by Uttar Pradesh at 20 per thousand. As we have already discussed in the last lecture, that by the projections of Registrar General of India, all the states in south have achieved the replacement level of fertility rate by the year 2005. In contrast, the Bimaru states are lagging behind. Uttar Pradesh is expected to achieve this level only by 2027. If Uttar Pradesh, the most populous state in the country, lags far behind, India's prospects of population stabilization will be very bleak. The north-south demographic divide is not merely a feature of population growth, but it is also a feature of the quality of population. Actually, the unhindered growth of population has always its toll over the quality of population. The states which have failed on the front of population stabilization programs have also failed to provide the basic amenities of life. Therefore, in these states the literacy levels are very low, mortality rates are high, the life expectancy is low and the sex ratio is adverse to the females. All of these factors are the indicators of economic as well as social backwardness. Let us first of all look at the literacy level in northern and the southern states. This can be observed from this table. The table shows that the differences have started right from the early independence period. Within the north, all the states except Uttarakhand always have registered a literacy rate lower than the national average. On the other hand, in the south, all the states except Andhra Pradesh have a literacy rate higher than the national average. The state with highest literacy in India, that is Kerala, lies in the south, while the state with lowest literacy in the country, that is Bihar, lies in the north. This clearly shows the north-south divide in case of literacy rate. Similarly, the health facilities in the northern states are pitiable. The poor health infrastructure along with little awareness among the general masses about basic sanitation and health care, the mortality rates are higher and life expectancy is lower as compared to the southern states. The differences in infant mortality and maternal mortality rates in the north and the south can be observed from this figure. The figure shows that within the southern states in Kerala, we can find the minimum infant mortality rate at 12 per thousand of live births, while the maternal mortality rate is merely 3.3 per lakh of women in the age group 15 to 49 years. In contrast to it, within the northern states, Chhattisgarh has shown the minimum infant mortality rate as well as the maternal mortality rate. The maternal mortality rate in the south is considerably lower not only than the northern states but also than the national average. The minimum mortality rate in the north is about 2.5 times higher than the maximum of the south, which is 8.1 for Karnataka. In case of infant mortality rates, Jharkhand and Uttarakhand have lower rates than the national average, while Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh have registered a very high infant mortality, which is respectively 59 and 57 per thousand per live births in 2011. Thus, the lives of the mothers as well as the infants are relatively in greater danger in north as compared to those in the south. Differences in mortality rates further leads to the differences in life expectancy at birth. The past levels and the projections for the life expectancy in north as well as the south can be observed from this table. The table shows that the life expectancy for males and females is expected to grow from respectively 63.8 years and 66.1 years during 2001 to 2005 to 69.8 years and 72.3 years during the period 2021 to 25. Within the north, though there are some better performance than the national average such as Bihar, Jharkhand and Rajasthan, but it is only Rajasthan which has life expectancy higher than the national average for both males and females. While in case of Bihar and Jharkhand, the life expectancy is higher than the national average only in case of males, and things are not going to change even by the period 2021 to 25. On the other hand, the south has much higher life expectancy both for the males and females than the national average for the same. But in south, the performance of Andhra Pradesh is not better than the national performance, but interestingly, the life expectancy for the females in this state is higher than that of the national average, while that of the males is below it. This is the point in contrast of the southern states' demographic features than that of the northern features. In north, most of the negative aspects are related with the females, or we can find greater adversities for females vis-a-vis males, while in the south, the things are better for the females, or at least they are similar for both males and the females. This is why the south is considered to be more female friendly as compared to the north. The gender discrimination is more visible in the sex ratios in the north and the south. So, let us have a look at the sex ratio in north and the south. The sex ratio is a tool to determine the gender equity in a region. Though in India the sex ratio has always remained in favor of the men, but in a few states it is more favorable than the national average, and in some states which show a relatively greater degree of equality in gender composition of the population. Another indicator which shows the gender inequality in the current as well as the future time period is the child sex ratio. The socially backward states have low overall sex ratio as well as child sex ratio. The experience of Kerala suggests that it is through women empowerment that the population can be controlled effectively, and this state always has a sex ratio in favor of the females, while on the other hand, the states which have remained laggard in controlling their population size and improving its quality also have a sex ratio unfavorable to females. In this sense, we can easily find that the sex ratio in the north is much lower than the sex ratio in the south. Through this figure, we can have a look at the north-south divide in case of sex ratio. This figure shows that the sex ratio in India has improved from 933 in 2001 to 940 in 2011, and with the exception of Bihar, all the states in the south as well as north have shown the improvement in the sex ratio. In Bihar, the sex ratio has declined from 919 in 2001 to 916 in 2011. It can also be observed that the southern states not only have higher sex ratio than the northern states, but they also have shown greater improvement between 2001 and 2011. While all the southern states have a sex ratio higher than the national average, within north Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, newly created states from Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar respectively have a higher sex ratio than the national average, while their parent states along with Rajasthan have a much lower sex ratio vis-a-vis the national average in both the time periods. Further, we can also see the sex ratio in the north as well as the south. The child sex ratio is calculated as the sex ratio of the children aged 0 to 6 years. This ratio is a reflection of underlying socio-economic and cultural patterns of the society, especially its attitude towards the girl child. An adverse sex ratio today will perpetuate the adversity of the overall sex ratio in the future time period. Ideally, it is estimated that since females have a higher life expectancy than males, therefore, a sex ratio of 105 boys to 100 girls means an equal gender composition of the population in future time period. Since in India, we measure the child sex ratio as number of girls per thousand of boys, the sex ratio of 105 boys per 100 girls turns out to be 952 girls per thousand of boys. Thus, if we have a child sex ratio equal to or close to 952, we can expect gender equality in sex composition of population in future. However, in case of India, this seems to be a distant dream, especially in case of north. Let us look at this figure to see the impending danger of adverse sex ratio in the future as well. The figure shows that the child sex ratio in 2011 in India was 914, which is far short of the ideal ratio of 952. We can see that it is only Kerala in the south and Chhattisgarh in the north which have a higher sex ratio than the desired value of 952. Rest of all other states have a child sex ratio much lower than it, and things are worse in north than in the south. In the south, all the states have a child sex ratio above the national average, while in the north, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand have a child sex ratio lower than the national average. The child sex ratio in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand is even lower than 900 girls per thousand of boys. On basis of the discussion so far, we can easily say that there are striking demographic contrasts between North and the South. The South, with all positive qualities of population, is also a success story in population stabilization programs, while the North, displaying too many of the negative features of the demographic composition, has also failed in controlling the growth of population at a desirable rate. This confirms the natural connection of population stabilization with good health and education infrastructure, along with a higher status for women. Until these differences in the North vis-a-vis South are not eliminated, the North-South demographic divide will remain the ugly spot on the picture of the population of India. Hence, the success of our national population policy will lie in our ability to bridge the gap between North and the South. I hope you must have enjoyed this lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the youth and the demographic dividend. Till then, have a nice time. Bye-bye.